March Madness is here. Absolutely love this time of year. It's a great excuse to just do nothing during the day on Thursday and Friday of this week. We are a night earlier here on Onorato and Miller to get our predictions in before the Thursday games really tip off a little bit afternoon. Yes, I know we have the first four games, but we will kind of look past those and then dive in to the brackets in the field of 64 coming up. It's Chris Onorato. We have a lineup of great guests. Talk about NCAA tournament, March Madness. We have your Capital Region voices you want to hear from. Joseph Girard III with Clemson, August Mahoney with Yale, the Ivy League champs, Dolly Cairns, who's going to the women's tournament for the first time. She is now part of Florida Gulf Coast after transferring from Rhode Island. And we will talk with the head coach at NYU, recent Division III national champions, Meg Barber. She's from Hoosick Falls. So a loaded show. And of course, we'll roll out our predictions here for the NCAA tournament coming up. The women's tournament, of course, is coming to the Capital Region next week. It'll kind of coincide with baseball's opening day. So the next 2 weeks, I mean, just soak it in. So much good stuff to look forward to. Let's get going. Onorato Miller.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Albany House.
Shout out to all of our local business partners. Albany House, of course, Bevs. We took you inside the family of beverage centers last week on the show. Performance Industrial, our people up there, Karen and Bill Miller. The Novice Crew, great apparel company, teamed up with Joseph Girard III and Dolly Cairns this year. We'll talk with JG3 about the new Clemson clothing line that is out. And, of course, Marcella's Appliance Center, who we go way back with. Johnny Marcella, Nick Matalone over there. Our thanks to all of them. They will certainly be feeling the loss of valuable business time this week as employees fill out their brackets, and rightfully so. Sometimes as a company, you just have to take a loss. And this is that time of year where people spend a lot of time dissecting their bracket. I did a very quick once over, and I'll just say this about the field overall, and it's a field of 68. And I understand that this year especially, I feel like I say this every year, but this year especially, it seems there are no clear favorites, and that's true. UConn maybe, right? But after UConn, I think a lot of people are wishy-washy on a lot of the other top seeds that are seeded 1 through 4 somewhere in there. I like North Carolina a lot. I told you that on the show last week. So you can already kind of predict my national champion, but I'll show you how I got there. All of this said, the uncertainty, the fact that there aren't heavy favorites, it's still, when I looked at the bracket, I had a really difficult time finding upsets that I really liked or a 3, 4, 5 seed getting to the Final Four. So I don't know that it's going to play out chalky, but it feels chalky to me this year. We'll see how that goes, right? Before we get into the men's tournament, look, this is the big news locally in the 518. The women's tournament draw set up almost perfectly. Almost perfectly. I'll tell you why it isn't exact.
And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
All right, so if Albany and MVP Arena wanted to be picky about how the tournament field shook out for them, with the women coming to town for the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 a week from now, the only thing you could say is, well, we're not getting UConn. We get UConn every year. The tournament is here because it's an easy trip, and the fans travel like crazy. So obviously, as the arena and downtown businesses and stuff, you want UConn because they've always been such a power, and it's just such an easy trip for the fans to make. That's the only thing you could say about the way this is set up now, is that, well, we're not getting UConn. We're getting everybody else. I mean, everybody else is in the Albany region. And that's why my Performance Industrial Dirty Difficult Done is the Albany region Sweet 16 and Elite 8 ticket is difficult. This is a tough ticket to get. Now, I may know a friend or two who bought tickets early on in the process and thought, well, when the bracket gets announced and we get South Carolina or Iowa or UConn, I can turn them and sell them. So those types of things are happening currently. So you can get tickets. It's just maybe a little difficult to justify shelling out what it would take to get a ticket. Not only are we getting undefeated South Carolina, the number one team in the country, we are getting the number one sensation in college basketball, men's or women's, and that's Caitlin Clark in Iowa. And then not only that, we're getting the defending national champs in LSU. So we have the potential for some incredible matchups once we reach the Elite Eight with those three teams in the field. Oh, by the way, Notre Dame is a 2 seed with maybe the best freshman in the country in Hannah Hidalgo. So there's great reason to watch those games, to get downtown, to try to see it in person. But either way, this region has we'll say lucked out. What an incredible field. So we will be live. News Channel 13 will be live on the days of those games next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's Easter Sunday and the following Monday when they'll play Elite Eight games to decide which teams are going to the Final Four. Really cool. But that is a tough ticket right now to get. If you've got them, my guess is you're thinking, how badly do I want to see Caitlin Clark play in person? I hope badly enough that you hang on to your tickets and you go. Or you at least make them reasonable enough for somebody who really wants to go. I will probably just use a press credential to get into some of those games. Okay. My bracket busters for the men's tournament. Now, as I said, I had a hard time finding upsets that I really liked. And so I challenged myself here to find the lowest seed to win a game, the lowest seed to make the Sweet 16, and a double-digit seed to get into the Final Four, which we don't see routinely, but we see often enough that nobody should be surprised if it happens, ever. Okay, we've seen 2 16s beat ones now. No one should, and they were the number one overall ones. No one should be surprised now by anything that happens in the NCAA tournament. So, the 12-5 is popular. I think we probably see a couple of those this year. But below that, I had a hard time finding a 13, 14, 15, 16 that I really liked. Now, believe it or not, I made this pick, Samford over Kansas, before the news of Kevin McCullers Jr. Already the Jayhawks without Hunter Dickinson. Now they're going to be without McCullers Jr., who's their leading scorer for the entire tournament. So, give me Samford. I already kind of liked them before that injury news. Now I'm happy to take him as a 13 seed, to be the lowest seed to win a game in this tournament. Lowest seed into the Sweet 16. Give me Grand Canyon. Here's how it lines up for them. They would have to beat St. Mary's in the first round, and then they would get either Alabama or Charleston after that. Now, do I think they can beat St. Mary's? I do. Do I think they can beat Alabama? Probably not. But I'm telling you, I didn't see a lower seed to really make noise in this tournament, deep noise in this tournament, a double-digit seed. Find me a 13 or a 14 that you really like. Vermont's losing to Duke, and Duke is going to cover in that game, people. I'm telling you. I know Vermont will try to muck it up, but there's a lot of shade being thrown at Duke right now. Duke will cover, and I think it's an 11.5-point spread. I like the Blue Devils here to kind of prove some people wrong with the way their season has gone. So then double-digit seed into the Final Four. Again, I'm just kind of looking at the path for some of these. Oregon can certainly beat South Carolina. Then they would get either Creighton or Akron. They can win that game too. Look at what Oregon did in the Pac-12 tournament recently. There's some proof there that Oregon could make some noise in this tournament. So again, I don't love a lot of these double-digit seeds, but it's going to happen. Something crazy somewhere is going to happen. We may not get a single one into the Final Four. It would be incredibly rare. But in case it happens, guess what? I'm ready. So here's the no one seeds allowed Final Four for me. In the East, I'll take Auburn. which is a little counterintuitive to my first thinking. I like Illinois in that region as well, but I'll take Auburn, their size and speed. Bruce Pearl will have them playing with incredible energy. You know that. Give me Marquette out of the South as a 2 seed, Creighton as a 3 in the Midwest, and Arizona as a 2 in the West. Now, Arizona is a team that a lot of these experts are picking to beat North Carolina anyway, just in your general bracket pool. I still like North Carolina there, but if I'm forced to pick a team other than a 1 in any of these regions, this is how I would shape my Final Four. Okay. All right. We'll come back on Onorato and Miller right after this. I'll give you my Elite 8. I'll give you my Final Four. I'll give you my national champ. Back right after this.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bev's, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just gonna have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always gonna get the same experience when you shop at Bev's. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're gonna see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
Elite 8, Final Four. We're jumping right into it. No time to waste. Here it is. UConn and Illinois in the East. Houston and Marquette in the South. Creighton and Gonzaga. A lot of people down on the Zags. They always make the Sweet 16. I'm asking them to win one more game than that. Give me Gonzaga. The road for the Zags beat McNeese State, beat Samford, which I think will beat Kansas, beat Purdue, which certainly can happen. I'm down on Purdue. I like the Zags. Then give me Carolina and Arizona, which might be the best game of this tournament. That's my Elite 8. It leads, of course, to the Final Four. Here it is. UConn and Carolina. I like the Tar Heels. Marquette and Creighton. Give me Marquette. Now, on the UConn pick, I just don't want to pick the same team to win back-to-back titles. So I like Carolina a lot anyway, but you're not going to get me picking UConn. I just am not that type of person where even though I do believe they're probably the best and maybe deepest team in the field, I just don't want to pick them to repeat. And there's not a lot of logic there. I'm just trying to be a little bit different. And by different, I mean taking a different 1 seed, North Carolina. But I like Marquette here. I like Marquette. And how about this? 3 of the 4 Big East teams. This is the only 3 teams the Big East got in. And I've got all of them making the Final Four. Put a little something on that in one of your betting apps as a parlay with all 3 Big East teams making the Final Four and see what happens. Other news that's happening here before we get to our lineup of guests. How about the Jets sign wide receiver Mike Williams to a 1-year contract? Aaron Rodgers getting a little bit more help. All right, when we come back here on Onorato and Miller, the lineup of guests begins. Joseph Girard III, Clemson. Dolly Cairns, Florida Gulf Coast. August Mahoney, Yale. Meg Barber, head coach at NYU, now the D3 champs.
It's March Mania here at Alpen House RV. March is full of big games and even bigger savings on new RVs, like this Coachman Catalina for $153 a month, or this Keystone Cougar Sport for only $344 a month. Come in today and shop a full line of America's top brands. Our knowledgeable team of outfitters is here to help you find the perfect RV. Shop online anytime at alpenhouserv.com. Great savings all month long at Alpen House RV in Amsterdam and Saratoga.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
All right, here we go. Long run of guests. This is going to be a lot of fun as we get ready for the NCAA tournament. I've already given you my picks that will surely be wrong. So let's talk to the players who know it best. Joseph Girard III is going to the tournament. August Mahoney is going to the tournament. Dolly Cairns is going to the tournament. Section 2, seriously represented in the field. of 68, both men's and women's. So let's bring in Joseph Girard III, the star for Clemson, of course, Glens Falls grad, New York State's all-time leading scorer. And the Glens Falls boys basketball team added another state title to their resume there, Joe. Not bad, huh?
No, it's always we've always liked to call ourselves Title Town. So I'm glad we can keep that tradition going.
Yeah, you started that, man, football and basketball. Joseph, congratulations on the season so far. This was the idea, right? Go to Clemson. It felt like the right fit, but obviously you saw the bigger picture about what this team could do in March.
100%. Going into the portal, I wanted to, obviously fit in somewhere, for one more year, just to live a different kind of lifestyle than somewhere in New York, and obviously get a grad degree and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, as a basketball player, my last goal was to make it to March again. I got a little taste of it going to the Sweet 16 my sophomore year, and have been itching to get back since. And Clemson gave me the best spot to do that. Coach Brownell's had a lot of success in his 14 years here at Clemson, and then last year they had a really good team that probably should have made a tournament and didn't, but they returned a lot of their guys, and I felt comfortable, coming here and being able to, like I said, just feel comfortable that this team would make it, and ultimately we have, but we're just getting started now.
Even though you won 2 games, like you said, in the Sweet 16, I'm sure you understand how difficult it is just to win 1 game.
Yeah.
What is it about the way this team is built that leads you to believe you can win even just that first one, which isn't easy?
Yeah, I think just the way that we've, scheduled this year, we had a really tough non-conference schedule, and then obviously the ACC is always hard. But I mean, we've won a home game against Boise State, who's a tournament team. Went on the road and beat Alabama at their home court, who's also in the tournament. Beat TCU on a neutral court, who's also in the tournament. Then obviously won at North Carolina. So we're pretty battle tested. We got a lot of older guys, and we've had a lot of success in a lot of different places this year. And I think just the experience, I think, will kind of carry us over the edge. But like you said, it's hard, and especially playing against a team like New Mexico, who's hot, just won their conference tournament, had a lot of talent. It'll be tough, but it's just hard. It's the only way to really describe it.
And I'll say you should have won at Duke.
Yes. Yeah. We can all say that. I'm sure we all saw what happened, but it is what it is. I think and there's other games too, that we've been battle tested, and but there's also those games where you can lose to anybody, and we've seen that as well. So it can happen at any moment, at any time.
All right, let's look at this New Mexico team. I already feel old most days, but when I see Rick Pitino's son coaching Jamal Mashburn's son, I really feel old. What have you seen from this team early on as you get ready for them?
Yeah, they also got Jalen House's son, or Eddie House's son.
Eddie House's, yep.
Yeah, and but no, they just got a lot of talent, and their guards are obviously really good. The guards are the ones that kind of drive that team and make them go. So we know we're gonna have to be locked in on both ends of the floor, for 40 minutes, because that's how long those guys can play. And they've played, I don't know, however many games they just won in a row to win their conference tournament. So, they'll be fired up. They're ready to go. Obviously, Coach Pitino's a great coach. He's got a great dad who he's followed after. But, he's his own coach as well, and he's done a good job at multiple spots. So, this team's going to be a tough team. And they play in a really good conference with really great teams. And, obviously, like I said, they've won their tournament. So, they're a high-level team, a lot of talent, and they like to get up and down the floor. So we got to be ready to go.
Any advantage to the familiarity you guys will have with that arena?
Yeah, I think, that's obviously, little things in March Madness are what is going to make it a big run. So, something little like that will hopefully give us a little bit more comfortability, especially just even having to be there for the 3-4 days that you're there in advance to even your game. So being familiar with where we've been at and being in that situation before. Obviously, we didn't win the game, but we've been there and we're kind of familiar with the area and with the arena. Just with kind of the whole atmosphere there.
Yeah, cool. How about the time off here now? How have you guys used that? Is it mostly rest? You can't do too much ahead of Selection Sunday, obviously, to get ready for an opponent. So what were those few days like?
Yeah, for us personally, it was kind of tough. We had a lot of expectations going into the ACC tournament, and obviously lost that first game, which, didn't sit well with us, didn't sit well with our coaches or anything. So we were kind of right back at it. Had 2 practices in a day, really, and just kind of were going at each other. Our coaches wanted to kind of get us that toughness back and that competitive spirit back, because it just goes to show that this is really the end. It can be taken away from you at any minute. So we've been having some tough practices here, recently, but obviously starting yesterday and today, we kind of understood who our opponent was, and we're going to kind of start game planning a little bit for it. Obviously, the coaches do a really good job of, watching film and preparing us. And that's what we're kind of doing these next few days.
What are the emotions like for you? Not that you're going to look ahead or past any single game, but getting to the tournament, like you obviously had set the goal, but knowing that, hey, I'm leaving it all out there this time.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is it. And, that was the goal, obviously, to make the tournament, but it was also to make a run. And like I said, I've been itching to get back to March Madness, but I've been itching to get back to Sweet 16 and, whatever it may be, because obviously making the March is great. It's a great accomplishment. There's only 68 teams left playing, and it's something you'll remember forever. But a lot of memories can be made in these games, and especially the longer you play, the more memories will be made. And that's what I kind of want to do. And with it being my last chance, and it's a lot of the other guys on our team's last chance as well. I think it kind of sits in the back of our mind that this is really it, and we got to give it our full go.
And these are the teams that are dangerous in March, the teams that are experienced, the teams that are, senior laden. Those are the ones that a lot of people like to write down on the next line in their bracket. Let's talk a little bit of business here before I have to let you go. Novice and you have teamed up for a new Clemson University collection, man. The gear is always sweet from those guys, but this especially, what do you think of it?
Those guys are the best. Novice has done a lot for me, and they did a lot at Syracuse with me, and now obviously here at Clemson, and they just keep wheeling and dealing, I guess. And the stuff that they bring is unbelievable. Obviously, a lot of comfortability, and it just looks cool. So I've even had, I've worn some of the sweaters and some of the outfits that they've given me here that they're trying to get over here at Clemson. And I've had my guys on my team ask about it, and some of the support staff ask about it. So it's really nice stuff. They always do the best job, and I love those guys. They're funny, and they're just great people as well as good business partners.
Will Mom and Dad make it to Memphis?
Oh yeah, they'll be there loud and proud. I'm sure. I've already got some texts from a few other Girards that are fired up about it and spend a lot of money to come to Memphis. So I'm really appreciative of all those guys, obviously. But it'll be a pretty good Glens Falls crowd in Memphis.
Well, listen, man, good luck as always, but enjoy it. Enjoy it. I know you will. Stay healthy and go show out on Friday.
Thanks, my man. I appreciate it. Should be a lot of fun.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
We are going back to back to back guests NCAA tournament, all from Section 2. You throw in a little Boo Buie and Amelia Wood, and you've got 5 players from the 518 in the NCAA tournaments here. Already spoke with Joseph Girard III, August Mahoney coming up. Let's talk with Dolly Cairns, though, making her first trip to the NCAA tournament after transferring to Florida Gulf Coast. And Dolly, I don't know, FGCU just keeps doing what FGCU does, and that's win conference tournament championships. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for making the time. Busy week for you. I know that. Travel included here. This was the plan, right? Make the right move and end up in the NCAA tournament. Has everything kind of gone according to plan for you at this point?
Yeah, obviously this is the goal. This is what we all work towards, all year long. I'm really happy to be a part of it, and I'm really excited, really looking forward to it.
What have your teammates told you? I know there are a lot of new faces on this roster, but what have your coach and teammates told you about this trip to the tournament?
Yeah, well, they have a really high standard. At least the past 2 years, they've upset the 5 seed in the tournament, being the 12 seed. So we have high expectations for this game coming up, and looking forward to proving everybody wrong.
What would you compare what you think round 1 is going to be like? Have you played in a game where you'd say, you know what, I can lean on that experience where it was just so amped up and the pressure was ratcheted up that I've been through that?
Well, I think a big key to this game coming up is going to be the pace. Obviously, it's a Big 12 team. and they won the the regular season this year. So the pace is something that we may not really have seen so much in conference, and something that we'll have to adjust to, and something that we will be ready for. But I think looking back, probably at the Duke game, that was a very high-paced game, and drawing from that, I think is something that can really help us. And overall, just sticking to the game plan and sticking to our principles and how we play our game of basketball at FGCU.
Of course, we're talking about Oklahoma, the first-round matchup for Florida Gulf Coast. What have you seen from them other than pace that you're preparing for?
Yeah, so pace is going to be a big key for us. They like to run in transition a lot. They have some good shooters. Obviously, we have some good shooters on our side too. But knocking down shots is going to be another big key for us. So.
We talked earlier in the season for Novice, the Crown Cast, with those guys. And I don't know if you remember this, but when I was looking at the roster, one of the things that just caught my attention was that it's popular to say that the NBA is positionless basketball. You guys truly play positionless basketball because everybody's position on the roster is what?
Shooter. Well, something I don't know if I mentioned in that podcast, but Coach Mesco, he said or brought it up recently that shooter isn't our position, it's our responsibility. So obviously, with us being reigning threes, it's kind of something that we try to hold each other accountable to, and being our responsibility, not just our position.
I would imagine the answer here is somewhere yes. When you were at Saratoga, did you always have the green light? Was there ever a moment where Coach would look at you sideways like, I can't believe you just shot that ball?
I don't think so from Coach Chudy, no. Yeah. But yeah, I was brought on the varsity team to be a scorer, so that's kind of what my role was right from the beginning. So,
what have the days been like in between the ASUN title and now getting ready for Oklahoma? I know you're going to tell me business as usual, but what have you done differently, maybe rest wise or mental preparation?
Honestly, just trying to, kind of come down from that win and, try to, take it in that this is going to be my first NCAA tournament, but also realize that, like I said before, they make their mark in the NCAA tournament as well. So, just trying to, treat it like it's any other game, and our coaches are going to have us really well prepared. So, just, trusting in them, trusting in the game plan, and just going out and executing it.
I think people who haven't followed this program at Florida Gulf Coast may not understand the burden of responsibility here and expectation. What has that been like playing with all season long, knowing we're expected to win the conference tournament, we're expected to get the bid, and as you've detailed, we're expected to win a game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think Coach Mesco does a really good job holding us to the way, the standards, the way he's played for, since he started the program. Right. He holds us accountable to it. So if, we don't do things the right way and, the right technique, it's not going to work. And, you try to do things your way, it's not going to work. So, really just listening to him, he's got all the information. He's the mastermind. So we all trust him and trust that he's going to get us all prepared.
I'm going to ask August Mahoney this too, because it had been a while since I had talked with him. Other than some guy at News Channel 13 who you hadn't spoken to in a little while, who are some of the people who have been blowing up your phone or hitting you on the DMs after they found out you were going to the tournament?
Well, a lot of people from home, but everyone thinks that we're coming to Albany because we're in the Albany region.
Well, you could.
Right. But they're all, people texting me, so excited to see you. I'm like, actually, we're going to Indiana.
Yeah.
But, all of my high school coaches, Coach Chudy, Coach Dart, Coach D'Lo, which is really awesome just to have them, still supporting me 4 years into my college career. Obviously, my friends back home, but, yeah.
Cool. Look, I didn't want to get ahead of ourselves, but since you brought up Albany, I'll ask you here. When you're watching the selection show, there are only two regions, so you had a pretty good chance. Yeah. But the opportunity here to win a couple of games and end up back in the 5-1-8. Have your current teammates been kind of nudging you like, hey, we might get you back home?
No, and I don't even know if I brought it up to them, just because I think we're trying to take one game at a time. This is obviously going to be a really tough matchup for us, so can't look too far ahead.
Okay. Who's making it out to Indiana? Anybody?
My parents.
Cool.
Another couple from my hometown who are great family friends. Actually, some fans from Rhode Island are making the trip.
Love that.
And a couple of my mom's friends. So got like 10 people.
You're not on the hook for tickets, are you?
What'd you say?
You're not on the hook for tickets, are you? You don't have to get them the tickets, right?
I am actually. But it'll be all right. I'll get it.
Yeah, it's worth it. Okay, cool. Listen, I hope you win, but I hope you enjoyed as well. I've said it to everybody, right? Come from somebody who will never had that experience, obviously will never have that experience. I think it's just cool to cover those games. Can't imagine what it's like to play in those games. So I know you'll enjoy the heck out of it. Have a safe trip and go light it up. Go shoot it. That's your responsibility, as I've learned here. I love that.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
Grab the family and get on the water in style with a Barletta pontoon featuring the power of a Mercury outboard motor. Whether you're cruising with the family or tubing and skiing, Barletta and Mercury will give you the best ride on the lake. Check out our great selection on Route 30 in Amsterdam and online at alpenhouseboats.com.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
What a show. Joseph Girard III, Dolly Cairns, still to come, that Division III national champion head coach from Hoosick Falls, now at NYU, Meg Barber. But this was the game of the weekend. Early start, and man, I'm glad it had the stage to itself. The Ivy League championship game, Yale and Brown, and our guy August Mahoney had a huge 2 minutes down the stretch to keep the Bulldogs in contention before a killer buzzer beater. Unbelievable stuff. Let's bring August in now here on Onorato and Miller. Of course, former News Channel 13 All-Star Albany Academy. August, man, it's good to catch up with you. Congrats on another trip to the Tourney. How are you, dude?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It means a lot.
As you're watching that final play unfold, the people who could see it, what were you thinking? You were down on the right block with a perfect view.
I wish I could give you a good answer, but I mean, all I can say is I inbounded the ball to Danny, and I just trusted each of my four teammates out there that someone's going to make a play. And I think the most beautiful thing is that we went on an assisted basket, and that's what we preach here, is to share the ball. And Danny passed to Bez, and Bez found Matt Noling in his bread and butter spot, and I saw that ball go through the hoop and the horn sound, and I just got running around like a maniac, and it was a special feeling and something I'm going to remember the rest of my life.
You did go wild, man, and the ESPN cameras caught you perfectly. First with an assistant coach, like right at half court, and then before you knew it, you're up on the scorer's table and a big bear hug for Dad. What was that? What was that moment like with your dad?
I mean, it was special. Like you said, we were celebrating, and then I ran over to our crowd, and I just wanted to give my thanks to the people that came to support us. And then, I like you said, I saw my dad standing there, and we hugged it out for quite a bit. And I mean, it was just a storybook ending to something that I've put so much time into over my life, and he's been there every step of the way. So I wouldn't be here without him, and it was just special for me to hug him first. It was something. It's a moment that I'm sure we're both going to remember and cherish for the rest of our lives.
Are your parents getting out to Spokane?
Oh yeah, they would have missed this for the world.
All right. I said you had a huge final 2 minutes, and you did, man. 2 threes in those final 2 minutes. You did have a defensive rebound that maybe I could have even gotten towards the end, But talk to me about those threes. You're obviously incredibly proficient, 44% from beyond the arc. But in those pressure moments, are you as confident in yourself as ever?
Yeah, I mean, in those pressure moments, you got to trust your work more than ever. I'd like to think that no moment's too big for me. I mean, I want to be remembered as someone that thrives in those moments. And those 2 threes were also two assisted threes. So I got to tip my hat to my teammates and give them the credit, just to trust me in those situations. And I saw some daylight in both those plays, back-to-back plays, and just let it fly. And my shot was falling all weekend, thankfully, and both of them felt great off the hand. And thankfully, I sunk both.
What was the last time you took a three that you didn't think was going to go in?
Good question. I forget.
Yeah, that's a good answer from a shooter. All right, let's talk about the trip. You go all the way east to all the way west. What's the biggest challenge there that maybe your coaches have already talked to you about?
There's no challenge with this travel schedule, Chris. I mean, we've worked so hard this year to find ourselves in this moment, and travel, lack of sleep, whatever it may be, we're gonna roll it out Friday afternoon and play our tails off. We have the utmost belief that we're gonna make something happen.
I love that, man. Look, you know this tournament well. I can imagine you grew up watching it like crazy. You've been to it. Nothing would shock anybody, right? A 13 seed goes out there and beats a 4 like Auburn. What is it about this group you've got? Not asking for a prediction, but why are you so confident that this team could make some noise?
We've been here. I mean, we played Gonzaga in Spokane already. We're very comfortable with the area, and then we played Kansas at Kansas, which some say is the hardest venue to play at. And in both those games, we had leads in the second half. So, I mean, if we play Yale basketball and we play together, I'll take my group up against anyone in the country. But we gotta go improve it. It's not going to be handed to us because Auburn's fighting for the same thing that we want, and we're gonna have to go out there and play a hell of a game. But I have the utmost confidence that we're going to go out there with a lot of confidence and make something happen.
How much emphasis did you put on this season? Look, it's only a couple of years since you were in the tournament, but how much emphasis did you put on this season, knowing, hey, let's go around, let's get it?
Yeah, I mean, I took a gap year during COVID for this exact reason. Coach Jones has been amazing to me. I've to give him so much credit. I wanted to come back and play all my 4 years at Yale. I didn't want to take a grad year, and it all led up to this. And it's a dream come true to be able to do it with him. My teammates in my locker room, they're all brothers to me. And to be captain is an honor that it's the biggest honor of my life to date. And this year has been special. We've had a lot of highs, but we've also had a lot of lows. And all those lows have prepared us for moments like this. And it's just unbelievable to see everything come to fruition, and each and every guy in that locker room deserved this moment, and it's unbelievable.
All right, other than some guy at News Channel 13 who you hadn't heard from in a few years, what was it like? Your phone blowing up, or people messaging you on Instagram, whatever, after that win? Yeah,
it was unreal. I mean, I still haven't gotten back to everyone yet, but the support I felt from the 508 community my whole career here has been unbelievable. I mean, people that I haven't talked to in forever, like you said, but wanted to reach out and give me some kind words of encouragement and just to tell me how proud they are of me. And it means so much to me knowing that I got a support from a community back home that I try to represent every day well. And yeah, it means so much to me. And hopefully we're not done yet. And I have another one of those days where my phone keeps blinging. So hopefully we're not done yet. And I get to go up on a stage and represent 518 well again.
Are you in touch with Coach Frush or your teammate who happened to win a natty last year? I mean, what are those guys telling you about this run here?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Frush is like a second father to me. He definitely reached out to me. I got back to him immediately. Whenever he texts me, I'll make sure I don't wait too long. But Coach Frush is amazing. He gave me some kind words, and words from him, words of confirmation from him means the world to me, just because he means the world to me. So I can't thank Coach Frush enough. I wouldn't be in this position without him. And then, like you said, Andre, who won the national championship last year, one of my best friends, he's the man. And he's rooting for me just like I'm rooting for him. And it's a relationship that means the world to me as well.
I love that, man. Listen, go get him, right? I mean, what does a 13 have to lose? It's easy for me to say sitting in Malta, New York, but at this point, given what you guys have accomplished, that comeback, I will admit, I'm watching that game and I'm thinking, I really figured, well, you guys will win. But probably most of America looked at the resumes and thought, well, Yale's the better team. And then I thought, I don't know how they're going to pull this off down 6 this late. You'd almost need a miracle. And you guys got darn near close to exactly that. What could happen against Auburn? We'll see, man. Hey, enjoy it, August. More than anything, enjoy the heck out of it. Have a safe trip, and we'll be watching Friday. You know that.
Will do. I really appreciate you having me on here. It means a lot.
Hit him up. You see it on Instagram. There's the handle underneath the name. Good luck, dude.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Using the highest quality materials, artisanal craftsmanship, and creative design, we're ready to help bring the vacation experience to your own home. With custom-designed Legacy Edition pools, we're confident we can turn your backyard into your own personal oasis. And we'll be by your side through the whole process. Get outside this summer with Alpen House. Be sure to visit our brand new 16,000 square foot showroom expansion on Route 30 in Amsterdam. Alpen House Pools and Hot Tubs, Amsterdam and Clifton Park.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just gonna have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always gonna get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're gonna see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
Division III national champs. The NYU women's basketball squad, led by Hoosick Falls grad and Meg Barber, is our guest here on Onorato and Miller. Coach, congratulations. Incredible. We watched the game at home. We heard from viewers who are family members of yours, friends of yours. Hey, start paying attention to NYU hoops. We did. It was fun to you guys beat Smith College. It was a fun watch. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a unbelievable experience.
And you didn't just, I mean, this wasn't, I'm not going to say it that it was easy, but the final scores wouldn't indicate that it was a difficult run. I mean, 31-0. You won every tournament game by double digits. Did it feel at any moment less than stressful?
No, not for me.
Yeah.
Maybe the players. I knew the quality of team that we had, and I think we were rightfully ranked number 1 in the country all year long. So we definitely had a target on our backs. And, I think as a coach, there's like an added stress with that you want to just make sure that you're putting your players in the position to accomplish what they're capable of accomplishing. And so I knew that they could win a national title, but obviously you can't overlook any opponent, and we got every team's best shot. And fortunately, we still have that 0 on the other side of our dash.
Third straight trip to the Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you felt like this team had what it took to win a national championship. How did you know that? What is it about them?
We brought in a couple of grad transfers. Morgan Morrison was a reigning National Player of the Year last year, actually came from Smith College. So you're talking about the craziest scenario, to meet them in the national championship game. But we just had such an experienced group of talented players. And we really, with this year's team, didn't have many weaknesses that teams could really pick apart. And so I think we've just been set apart from previous teams where a team could play it, take us out of our offense or take us out of our rhythm and transition. This year's team returned the experience you're talking about with the Elite Eight, and we added some really dynamic pieces to, make us the complete team that we were.
I saw interviews you did with our guy, Bruce Beck, down at WFBC in New York City. Ithaca grad as well. Great guy. And he asked you the question that you just kind of answered there. Like, you were undefeated, I think 18-0 at the time. Were you enjoying it or were you stressed? And I get that from a coaching perspective, you're just kind of always stressed or feeling a little bit of the pressure or responsibility maybe to continue winning. what is the feeling now that you're a few days removed from a national championship to obviously still have that target once again on your back next year?
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I'm not even thinking about next year. I was texting with, just fellow colleagues and coaches who have reached out, and there's definitely a sense of relief in a way, just again, knowing how capable we were of doing this, but the elation, the cloud nine euphoria, it really, NYU hadn't won a national championship in women's basketball in 27 years. So, to be able to be an alum and bring this trophy back home, it honestly just feels like a complete full circle from, growing up in Hoosick Falls and going to NYU and kind of, taking the risk to put myself in a huge opportunity of growth, to go to the big city and go to school and to come back and win a championship as a coach is pretty indescribable.
1,000 points at Hoosick Falls, 1,000 points at NYU. Crowning achievement, though, of course, is News Channel 13 All-Star.
Yeah.
When you hear that over the last few weeks, we have been getting emails and calls from people here, clearly paying attention to all the good things you're still doing there. What kind of sense of pride does that fill you with for your hometown and home area?
I mean, it means everything. Certainly my family has been the biggest aspect of my ability to even have this career professionally. And, my sisters, my mom, my dad, who's no longer with us, a huge part of, my journey to be in this position. But I was talking to somebody who runs the youth center in Hoosick Falls, which is where I grew up playing. And that was my start. And, News Channel 13, that AAU team I was a part of, the American Eagles, like all of those, steps along the way are what set me up for the journey that I was able to be on this year. So I am, eternally grateful for growing up in such a small place where everybody was so supportive of each other. And, that's still family to me. So I'm super, super proud that so many people followed us, and I'm proud to represent Hoosick Falls in this way as well.
And your coach was one of our scouts, Doc Gallivan, right?
Yeah, Doc Galvin. Yeah. he really pushed me, and again, just an unbelievable way to kind of grow up. Both I got, small town and then big city, and have kind of had, a little aspect of everything.
Great balance to this team. 5 players basically in double figures in season averages. But I'll tell you what, Meg, it's the defensive numbers that jumped off for me. What you guys held your opponents to shooting percentage wise, I think like 33% on just from the floor overall, 27 from 3. I mean, when you can really limit your opponents like that, and I think 53 points per game, I mean, it's just kind of built in that you're going to, if not win every game the way you did, have a really good chance to win every single one of them. Has defense always been a big emphasis for you?
It has, even in the recruiting process, we've stressed, like, if you want to see the floor for us, you play both sides of the ball. We have several players who had Division I offers and turned those down for, the academic balance of NYU. So, some of the defensive prowess is coming from, athletes and players that some other programs simply don't have at our level. Natalie Bruns, All-American, she's National Player of the Year, I think had 5 blocks in the national championship game, which is, on the women's side, it's just kind of unheard of. She alters, someone gave a stat in the first 4 minutes of the game, Smith did not have a shot that hit the rim even, it wasn't just misses, they weren't anywhere near the rim. So that's just the way that we've, approached every game. One of my assistants said to me the night before, we were game planning late into the night, and she said, we can't rely on offense. It's a national championship. We're going to have nerves. We're going to have, kind of just added pressure. And we really need to make sure we remind our team what got us here, which is all about defense. So, for us, defense also turns into offense. So we've had a lot of fun on offense. Don't get me wrong. We've averaged about 80 points a game. But obviously, when the lights come on and you're on that biggest stage, it's really nice to be able to rely on the thing that just has to do with effort and team play, and not individual, effort to make a shot or things like that.
What does winning a title do for recruiting?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I've had a lot of emails already from people, reaching out.
Transfers?
Interested in transferring. We're very select in that because of the academic rigor. It's just really not for everyone. But obviously, our master's program, we have a plethora of, you want to be in the sport industry. We have Knicks, Nets, Liberty, Giants. I mean, so, finance, law, we kind of have everything. So I'm sure we'll get a lot of interest, but honestly, the core of this group that's returning is really, really strong. They've built an incredible culture. So we're very specific with the kind of person and the kind of student athlete that we recruit here and look forward to continue to build our program.
I asked you before we just kind of started really with this interview what the media tour has been like. I grew up in northern New Jersey. My home market was New York City. So I'm aware at how much attention is paid to the professional teams and obviously rightfully so. But when you can get a slice of time on television or in a newspaper in New York City, it's a big, big deal. Have you put any thought into or reflected on what you have done, and not just you yourself, but what this team has done for women's sports, for Division III basketball, for non-professional teams in the number one media market?
Yeah, it's honestly been a lot of fun because I think right now there's such a spotlight on women's basketball. You look at Caitlin Clark at Iowa and, just some of South Carolina's dominance. So the women's basketball spotlight, we were kind of in the right place at the right time this year with the team we had. And we had a lot of people coming to practices, interviewing our players. We're invited to the Nets game tomorrow to be special guests, which will be really fun for, the players that are here. So just a lot of people that I think are catching the right moment for women's sports. And obviously, I think we're a great story that we've accomplished what we have with true student athletes. They are 4.0 students in the classroom. This is not like we're not looking to go to the WNBA, but they've accomplished at such a high level. So I think our players are a fun interview, and they've definitely enjoyed the support that they've gotten from the New York City community and beyond.
Will you get up to Albany for any of the games? Sweet 16 and Elite 8, they're going to be here. I mean, the region that is rolling through the capital region is, let's hope it all plays out the way we kind of think it should based on seeding. It'll be fun.
Well, I want to give a huge plug. If you're in the area, do not miss out on this opportunity. The level of talent coming into that area is second to none. I have been asked to be an encore coach for USA Basketball, and it happens to be in Portland. So it's insane because my family is in the area, and I love going up there. It's actually my nephew's birthday that weekend. And I will be in Portland, sadly, but I will be watching. And also, obviously just anytime you can see Sweet 16 Elite 8 basketball, at the D1 level, it's unbelievable. So definitely people should check that out.
Well, look, we'll get South Carolina and Iowa and Notre Dame and LSU, but you'll get UConn, which is usually the team that always comes through the 518.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Obviously, Paige Beckers and their whole squad is unbelievable. So, yeah.
And Tara's got the wins record. Stanford is out west as well. That you'll see good hoops out there too. You did just kind of speaking about some of that Team USA. Boy, I don't know. Which of these are the pinch me moments for you here?
All of them. I mean, as an alum of NYU, I will say that this championship, in the stands for the national championship game, there were probably 30 of my former teammates and what we call the sisterhood screaming behind the bench and cheering us on. That will be a moment that is, on my heart forever. And, looking across and seeing my sisters and, my mom and my fiance, it's been just sharing it with family has been unbelievable. But all these added things of people recognizing, our performance and kind of, providing these opportunities for USA or whatever it is obviously, it's a welcomed yes when the opportunity fits. And I'm looking forward to whatever, comes from it.
Is the wedding date in 2024 as well?
No, it is not.
Okay.
couldn't get that planned with the season approaching. Yeah, so 2025.
How many of those many of those teammates are texting you in between games, second guessing, strategizing, lending their unwanted opinion, however you want to phrase it?
Yeah, I don't actually get a lot of X's and O's talk, but there are plenty of fans who give me that. So I am not lost on that. But no, it's a lot more of when can we get together in the off season to celebrate? So I'm really looking forward to, celebrating with all those guys. And I wasn't really able, they were all out having such a great time at the Final Four, for us. And I was like, I have to go watch film. So I was a bit of a party pooper, but I'm definitely looking to celebrate with them when we have the chance.
All right. Last couple of things here, and I will let you go. Have you watched film since the final buzzer?
No, it was like my favorite thing that I said tonight. I mean, I had watched film late into the night for, weeks and weeks and weeks on end. So I said, I can't wait to not watch film. And our starting point guard and I have a date set to watch this national championship together, which was probably not our prettiest performance. So we're both like, we kind of don't want to watch it, but obviously knowing the outcome makes watching it, a lot easier. So
Yeah, coaches always say they'd rather learn or teach from a win than a loss, right?
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Well, listen, you've been on the media tour. I love that your program is getting the shine that it's getting, but we are very appreciative of you making one of your stops along that tour and shouting out the hometown area. Yeah. Congratulations again. Incredible Division III national champs. You're Coach of the Year at NYU as well. You've checked so many of those boxes, but as we've said, the pressure just kind of mounts with expectations as it goes. Enjoy it for now.
I appreciate it. Time to run it back. And thank you to everybody in the area for your support and reaching out. It really means the world.
Teams, athletes, organizations. We're transforming the custom apparel industry through product and purpose. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
What a show. Love it. Cannot wait for things to tip off a little bit after noon on Thursday. If you've been watching us on TV, we live stream this show every single week, Thursdays at 6:30, except this week, because we wanted to be a day early before the NCAA tournament started in order for me to show you this again. My predictions for the tournament here, the Final Four is UConn, North Carolina, Marquette, and Creighton. Carolina cuts down the nets, beating Marquette in the national championship game. Should be fun, right? It's been an unpredictable college basketball season already this year. Maybe some more unpredictability, which means my Final Four would be way off because it's a chalky prediction. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Enjoy the games. Next week, we are giving out our Major League Baseball season-long predictions. We'll see you then.